Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll see you next year. We will talk then. Okay, Brandon. I don't want to kill you. No, we had a great time. I might have been your biggest opponent, or at least inflicted the most damage in your career. So no, that'd be my wife. Take care. All right, thanks a lot.
Before we get started, guys, we didn't break these out during the autograph session, but if you want any autograph shots done, I got them $5.
It's a cast and crew of the movie, and then a picture from the premiere. Pass it around, pass one around and take a peek at it. Yeah, they're cool. And we did the premiere at Grauman's Chinese Theater there in Hollywood, obviously. It was silly. We at this hotel right around the corner, and I asked the gal, so what time was the premiere? She said like 7 o'clock or something. I said, all right, well, Molly and I walk over there. No. We had a limousine outside of this room just to go about 100 yards. So it was the silliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Until he came to G-Fest, and then that became the silly.
Yeah, come on, I'm sitting next to you. Yeah, what are you doing, boy? Where's your stash?
well, it kind of lost all its stickiness.
I don't hear any out of you.
So what did the wife think of the photo?
You know, she hasn't seen it yet. We sent it to her, but she hadn't opened it up yet. Yeah.
Doesn't get it out there on the range? No reception?
Not much. Not much. Yeah, it takes. I don't know. We got Verizon. Sometimes it takes about a day or two to get a voicemail or something like that.
Yeah.
How does that work for you all?
We're US Cellular in this area, and it bounces all the way from good to horrible.
Trying to go from this one. I'd rather have some boat than one.
Was that one of your first American commercials I saw on there? You were on a motorcycle?
No, actually, about a decade ago, I did a local water commercial here in Phoenix, and then I did some other commercial, I can't remember, but a year ago I did an Allstate commercial. It was a motorcycle commercial.
Right, that's the one they're showing on TV now. I'm looking, I says, hey, that's not what you doing here. Yeah. I thought you live in Japan or you live in the States now?
I live here.
Oh, so I just thought that I was, when I was seeing all this info about you that back in the past and Final Wars and all that you were making movies in Japan and was like, you know, big star in Japan.
Yeah, I used to be, yeah.
Yeah?
You were the new Stan Hansen for a while.
Yeah, like my fan on the UFC, all my fans died of old age.
Oh.
My favorite part about that, the new Priceline commercials, I wasn't, you know, I had the TV on, but I wasn't, well, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Priceline, right? I wasn't really watching, but I had the TV on, and all of a sudden I heard the voice, and I was like,
yeah.
All right.
They're okay.
That's what most people say.
And we've noticed that the mustache is annexed to the chin.
Yeah, I went after it. Got a little lazy there.
Right. That's because your chin didn't enforce enough border security.
That's it. Let anybody go through. Just blame Bush.
We'll keep the politics to a minimum.
Yeah, you don't want to hear my politics.
Do it. Let's hear it.
I don't want to hear anybody's.
Although I think no matter if we disagree or agree, I think whatever your politics are coming from you, we'd all enjoy it.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, let's talk about Obama. No, actually, oh yeah, that's about Final Wars. I'm sorry. All right, yeah, so let's get started. Let's talk about Final Wars. So, of course, it's the 10th anniversary of the supposed last Godzilla film, Godzilla Final Wars, starring a bevy of people from Japan, and of course, the one and only Don Frye. Now, of course, Godzilla Final Wars is a movie that a lot of people either love, a lot of people hate, some folks are even in the middle. But the actual creator of this discussion, who could not join us because he wasn't aware of the scheduling change, unfortunately, intended the session not to focus on any of the negative thoughts or the bad impressions people have. He wanted it to be a celebration of the 10 years of Godzilla Final Wars with one of its major stars, and of course, the iconic figure of the film, who almost overshadows Godzilla himself in his 50th anniversary film. So, let's focus on the positive, let's talk about what works, what's fun about it, and hey, we've got the man himself here to join in the celebration. What could be better than that, right? Yeah. All right, so how about it, Don?
Nobody can lie about it better than me.
So this was your first movie role, right?
No. First starring.
Okay.
You know, I had bits and pieces and stuff that we'd all rather forget, you know. Yeah, I've been actually one of the first ones I lived through, you know. I mean, when I usually get killed or beat up or something like that by the hero of the movie, yeah. And my daughter's like, "You're a good guy, Daddy." Yeah, I'm a good guy.
So did they seek you out, or did you audition for this?
No, they sought me out on Ruhei Katamura-san is the writer-director, and he's just a fan of mine from pro wrestling and Pride, and he had been looking for me for about, I don't know, 3, 4, 6 months, you know, and finally tracked me down, and unbeknownst to me, some gal decided she was going to be my agent over there. So she contacted me, so, you know.
That's how it happens.
That's how it happens, yeah. They become your agent without you knowing it, and then they contact you.
It's not the first time it's happened. I speak from experience. I know that happens quite a bit in Japan. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, speaking about the casting process, what did you think when you were approached to be in a Godzilla film? Speak honestly with us. We want to hear the truth.
Oh, I said, yeah. I didn't even know anything about it, you know. Because like I said, you know, with knee-high to grasshopper, you know, I saw the old 8mm reels from people from Okinawa, you know. So, yeah, then you catch one on late show, late show, you know, in the middle of the night. And, yeah, opportunity to get on Godzilla, yeah, I jumped on that thing.
Awesome.
I didn't know how much I was getting paid or if I was getting paid. I didn't care.
Exactly. The experience came in enough, I suppose.
Yeah. Like you said, just to be part of the, you know, something so iconic, and you know, iconic's the words thrown around, you know, like an honor.
Exactly.
Know? Honor is thrown around. People don't know the true meaning of the word, you know, and yeah, you get the opportunity to do something like that, you get after it.
Exactly. I mean, of course, America has John Wayne. We have many icons. Japan has Godzilla, perhaps its biggest icon worldwide, and you're a part of that now. So not only UFC, not only the Michael Mann films, not only, you know, William Shatner, but also Godzilla. So it's not just American icons, it's Japanese icons. They're taking over the world, Don, and you're still joining us, and we're happy that you're here, right? Yeah.
Be great too to like come to a convention like this and have a completely new fan base, separate from UFC. That you know, a lot of.
No, I just came for John Frye, not Godzilla. Just John Frye, UFC. Go.
Oh, no, that's okay. But I mean, I know, like, you know, yesterday there was the little boy from Saskatchewan who you know, him and his mom drove 21 hours.
Hey, and you give him a ticket. It was really nice of you, man.
I couldn't let him go.
You give him a ticket, man. Give him a grand.
Hey, all right.
They made it after the tickets had sold out, so I let him use one of my autographs.
Yeah.
But he was, I mean, you know, he wanted to meet Don Frye. Final Wars was like his first Godzilla film that he saw when he was, you know, 3 years old, and you know, it was like, Don Frye, I've got to meet Don Frye, and you know, he doesn't know you from, you know, fighting or wrestling or anything else. It's this, and I think you've got a whole new fan base there.
Well, yeah, like I said yesterday, you know, last time I was here for the 8 years ago. You know, I had my fight photo, which is me in my shorts, you know, naked but shorts, you know, and it says Don Frye the Predator, and I'm signing it, handing little kids who don't know anything about it. And so I told Molly, so we got to come up with new photos for this.
Well, actually, one of my favorite memories from that convention when you were in 2008 was at the very end. I think we had the party with Jay and the others, you know, lots of drinking involved, you know. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. There was some drinking involved. But at the very end, we went back.
We were all forced to do it.
Exactly. You went very unwillingly, as I recall.
Against my will.
As always, when it comes to alcohol. But actually, what happened was we were coming back into the hotel, and a young fan brought you, I think, a Final Wars DVD for you to sign, and you took on the role of Captain Gordon for him, and you said, like, I forget exactly what you said, but, like, you know, you saluted him, and you basically played the role and everything, and I just thought that was such a wonderful thing, because no one asked you to do that. It wasn't something that I or someone else had asked you to do. You just decided to do it yourself, and just to make his day, and I just was like, wow, it was such a wonderful moment to see you, you know, really inspire this child, like, you know, like stay in school, don't do drugs, you know, Captain Gordon says so, and
yeah, Captain Gordon's the picture of you know,
good living. Of straight and narrow lines.
Yeah, he obeys every command willingly, right?
Exactly.
Role model for you.
Yeah, role model for. That guy's a jerk.
He saved the world. I mean, you can't complain too much.
It wasn't much of a stretch, trust me.
He's the only human character who I ever thought could actually take Godzilla in a fight. So I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
Got a problem with authority, but you know, he's a good enough fight.
Exactly, and that's what counts. All right, well, getting back to the film, let's talk about Ryuhei Kitamura, the director. You know, when you were making the film, what was his directing style like, and how would he work with you in a scene?
Oh, like I said, that first day was just abysmal. Oh my God, because and some people can pick up a second language or a third language or a fourth language. Not me. I have trouble with English, and just trying to. I had been over there for 7 or 8 years at the time. And, you know, they always provided an interpreter for us because the Japanese want to learn English, which is completely different than foreigners in our country. And so, you know, just trying to understand the Japanese language was tough, and they had to use hand signals, like I said, for me to know when I was supposed to interrupt or something like that. And they just threw everything on the floor after that first day. It was miserable. I didn't know what I was doing, and it was just terrible. But you know, we picked it up. And the second, third day, we got after it. You know.
So at that point, were you just thinking to yourself, "Oh, everyone's just gonna be laughing at me"?
No, I thought they were gonna send me home. I'd get back to the hotel, and all my bags would be packed for me.
They were sitting in the lobby.
Yeah. Send me home by way of Siberia.
Wow, well, you know, there are many classic Toho stars that you worked with in the film, Mr. Akira Takarada and Kumi Mizuno, who are some of in the original Godzilla films and very beloved by all of us here. What do you recall about working with these legendary actors?
You know, it was tough because, like I said, you know, you don't want to screw up what they've done. I mean, you know, being the 50-year anniversary, a lot of pressure on you, you know, and you go in there like a bull in a china shop, bumbling around, and it's easy to screw things up. And, excuse me, Japanese are not tolerant when it comes to stupidity.
Exactly, that's right.
Yeah. And boy, I tell you what, that knock on wood, I was lucky that they tolerated me.
Well, we're all lucky.
You can see they were shaking their heads a lot more.
Well, actually, one of the extras in the film told me that, I guess during the off hours, there were a lot of other sort of foreign actors in background roles, and I guess a lot of people would approach you and there was arm wrestling contests and that you were just destroying everybody who came along. And so do you have any memories of just knocking everyone out of arm wrestling?
Well, hell, I outweighed everybody by 60 pounds.
This is true.
Yeah, it wouldn't be difficult.
Say the least, of course.
Right, so, it's good. Like I said, everybody's real professional, everybody's fun, and, you know, the whole set, they were, you know, Ryuhei Kitamura-san had a real good set. Wasn't a lot of tension. You know, he kept it light, but he kept it professional at the same time, which is really difficult.
Absolutely. especially on a film like that with so many actors and there's so much money on the line, you know, to keep
Oh,
that.
man.
I mean, sometimes, you know, being a director is like directing traffic. You have just so many things to keep track of. And, you know, when you look at that film, for a Japanese movie, it was very ambitious. And the fact that it worked, you know, quite a bit at the time is kind of a testament to what he was able to do with that budget and so many actors and someone who had never really acted in a film before in one of the major leading roles.
Right. Well, there were several of us that had no clue what we were doing. You know, there's Rhea, she's a model, you know.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And then Masa, you know.
He's a drummer.
Yeah, he's just a drummer, yeah. So we're all bumbling around through there. And thank God for the real actors, or else it has been really just a wreck.
Who did you think was the best actor on the show?
I can't say that, man. Besides me?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who's going to argue?
Godzilla.
Well, you know, you joke about that, but I think most Godzilla fans, whether they liked the movie or hated it or were in between, I think everyone pretty much agrees you were one of the best things in that movie, and that we all just, I mean, there's a handful of American actors over the past 60 years who have appeared in the Japanese Godzilla films who we've gone on to really embrace, and you know, there's Nick Adams, is of course the first one that comes to mind. But you're in that, you know, that top tier group of American actors in these films that we all just just totally fell in love with as soon as we saw it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, actually, I wrote down a quote from a book by David Kallett that I wanted to share just to give this all a little bit of context. So the scene-stealing star, this is from his book, A Critical History of Godzilla. Yeah.
Second edition or whatever.
So the scene-stealing star of the show is Don Frye. He's built like a human Godzilla and speaks with a voice of gravel and stale cigarettes. Few men have the screen presence to deliver a line like, "There's two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, the other is Godzilla." Frye has the rare authority to compare himself to Godzilla and get away with it. And I mean,
to steal that from you. Go home, show the wife and the kids.
I think they're selling the book here.
Yeah.
Hey, are you living on your royalties from this movie? How do they do? You know, is it just one-time fee, or is like in America you do something? It's a one-time thing, and
right.
Here, give me. I got my money. I'm going.
Yeah, no, it's just different over there in Japan.
Yeah.
Or else I just don't know.
Yeah, there's no SAG equivalent. So,
nothing. Oh no.
Yeah, the actors don't get royalties. In fact, very few crew members get royalties from the films. Usually, it's just like their flat fee, and that's it.
Yeah,
most of the guys on the crew, guys and gals, they probably didn't get their normal fee. I don't know, but because they were just, this is a privilege to be involved in, the 50th anniversary of Godzilla. So, everybody was clamoring for a job.
Exactly. Yes.
Quick question. Do you remember how long the shoot was, or how long your portion of the shoot was? And did you stay on in Japan for a little longer? I think it was your first time over there, is that right?
No, I've been there.
Okay.
I've been there.
So, how long was your shoot?
Mine was 3 months. 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were real polite. They brought my family over for 10 days, at their expense. My wife and 2 kids and a nanny, which wasn't really a nanny, just our babysitter, and she got a free trip to Japan, and she's a nice gal, just not too smart. We walked out of the hotel one day. We were getting a taxi, and she says, "Somebody's already in there." I said, "That's the driver."
That might have something to do with it.
Yeah, and it was great because, like I said, then they sent me home. They sent me home for a week, and I don't know if that was their choice or mine, but they understood that there's you got to go home and recharge your batteries every once in a while.
Did you get to see some of the special effects scenes with Godzilla, or was it primarily just your?
No, it was just right there at work, in our set. I know when, like I said, my daughters were 3 and 4 at the time, and Ruhe tells them, to be quiet, we're getting ready to shoot, and then they did a big, my wife and kids are watching on the screen, while they're actually filming, and they did the big close-up on me, and Cassie, my little one, goes, and Ruhe is just cooler than snot, man. He didn't say anything, he just laughed, because he had kids too. So.
When did filming start, actually? Was it in July or August?
Partner, it was right in the heat of summer, I'll tell you that.
That must have been fun. Oh, wearing that.
Yeah, the Gestapo outfit.
Yeah.
That, you got those riding boots, and you got that coat must be about 70 pounds of leather, It wasn't comfortable, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it certainly didn't look that way.
No,
sure.
no.
It looked good though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked good. We got heavier as the day got on though.
Did you take home any souvenirs from that? Did you keep the coat?
No, they wouldn't let me keep it. I wanted that tooth, but they let me have all I got was the katana, wooden katana, practice, excuse me, but other than that, there's.
I don't think they could have stopped you if you said, hey, I'm taking this. How about this?
Well, my dad raised me right, you don't steal. You especially don't steal from the Japanese.
Gotta get off the island.
They're about serious as the Muslims are, Take out the offending part.
What was the tooth?
Pardon?
What was the tooth?
It was,
Was it a kaiju tooth? Or?
So huge.
Yeah, it was a big one. I can't remember.
Was it an actual tooth or was it?
Yeah, it was an actual tooth.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Wow.
I don't know if it was walrus tusk or a tiger tooth or what it was.
Let's go to the movie.
It was really cool. It was really cool.
But I know in the photos that you sent me a few years ago, you, I guess, had a replica made if you didn't have the actual one.
No, I have one. Yeah,
It's like a very similar necklace.
it was
Looks
very
almost the same,
similar.
yeah.
Right.
Very interesting. So just specifically because you like that so much?
Yeah, well, I go to a lot of gun shows. I'm a second Amendment supporter. Yeah, damn right, man. God bless America.
No better place for you to be than Chicago.
Yeah. Gotta be real quiet. But no, you collect all kinds of. You go to gun shows. People have all kinds of neat stuff. Like my belt buckle here. It's an African lion claw, and then I picked that up, and then I met. I was a fireman in Santa Fe, New Mexico, so I sent it to a jeweler in New Mexico, and he custom made this belt buckle for me.
Wow.
And it's the stupid things you do first time you get money, boy.
45 though.
Oh my God! Which one?
Tell me about last night, the ivory.
Oh yeah, I got a Colt 45, 1911, which I picked up from a buddy of mine, Larry Taylor. He passed away about 5 years ago. He's ex-CIA, and a buddy of his was ex-CIA. If there ever is like being an ex-Marine, you never really are ex.
Right.
And but I picked up a Colt 1911 with ivory grips, which they sweep up all the ivory dust and then they compact it, and that's how they make the grips. But it belonged to Gene Roddenberry.
Wow.
And Gene Roddenberry was a deputy for the LA County Sheriff's Department. He was a.
They didn't give him his phaser?
No, they got a phaser. No.
With ivory.
Exactly.
45 is good enough, though.
He'll do the job.
Yeah.
Since I kind of outed myself, could you maybe for others who aren't as familiar with your background, kind of how you got into the MMA, and then eventually how you made your way to Japan.
I wrestled, you know, high school, college, international, and then after college, you know, I did 4 years at Arizona State University. I wrestled through my first year redshirted, then competed in 2, and I got in a bad motorcycle accident and had to sit out a year. They put me on a medical scholarship, and I rehabbed my shoulder. And when I did that, I got contacted by Okie State, and so I did my last year at Okie State. And then after that, I did a year and a half pro boxing. And then I got out of sports altogether because I was in a real bad marriage, you know. She didn't like me and I didn't like her. Wasn't good for either one of us. And so I got into the fire department and shoeing horses, and I worked for about 5 years. And then I took up judo for what little time I had left, you know, just stay out of the house. I just took up judo, and then I started competing all across the nation, you know, in little fights. And Dan Severn was a buddy of mine, so I called him up, and I helped him compete, or I helped him train for the Ultimate One, you know, because they had, you know, you had the fights, about 4 or 5 fights throughout the year, and then at the end of the year they had a championship fight for, you know, the winners and runners-ups, called the Ultimate. And he won Ultimate One. I was his chief throwing dummy for that one, and that's all I was. I was just a throwing dummy for now. And so he recommended me to the boys at the UFC, and they called me up. And they said, "You want to fight and go to Puerto Rico and fight UFC 8?" And I said, "Well, hell yeah!" So that's what happened. They got me in on that, and so I fought through '96. And broke my hand in the last fight, you know, against Tank. And so I had to, you know, you had to wait a few weeks, you know, what, 6 to 8 weeks for broken bone to heal. It didn't heal very well because like a year to the date, I punched some guy out in the parking lot and re-broke it again.
I got a tough head.
Yeah, he did. And so, you know, '97, they were, the Japanese New Japan Pro Wrestling were looking for, you know, a tough, you know, shoot fighter to be their new bad guy. So they called up Brad Reagans. Brad was wrestled for the AWA, and he was on the '76 Olympic team for the U.S. in Montreal.
Trained many pro wrestlers.
Yeah, he trained. Yeah, broke a lot of pro wrestlers in. And the Nasty Boys, you know, Kurt Hennig, a bunch of people. And so Brad called Jeff Blatnick, you know, who was a commentator of, he had trained Jeff for the '80 Olympics, or '84 Olympics. And so Jeff recommended me. And so that's how that all happened. You know, they flew over to Minneapolis, and, you know, Brad lived in Minneapolis, so Masa Saito and Antonio Inoki, and then Nagoya Ogawa and Fujita. They all flew over there to Minneapolis, and they flew me up there, and we all, you know, worked out and had a few dinners, and they decided to offer me a job. So, you know, I ended up being the bad guy.
Now, who are some of the pro wrestlers you worked with in Japan? Like, did you work with Stan Hansen or anyone like that?
No, I never got to work with him. I met him once, you know, on an airplane. He's a really nice guy. Really nice guy.
Is he a lot different from his character?
Oh yeah, yeah. He's just a big old hillbilly. And he's lives up there in Colorado, and he grows alfalfa and Bermuda hay. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
They're just normal people, but they have their. You're just normal people, but you have your persona of what your character is.
Right.
You're just normal, you know.
Right.
Stan Hansen, for those who don't know, is like a big cowboy type guy who always has like tobacco spewing out of his mouth. He's like, he's screaming, he's got a bullwhip and stuff, and he actually just grows alfalfa in Colorado.
Yeah.
That's what he is. In real
Right.
life, so.
And people don't know about, you know, Hansen, as he broke Bruno Sammartino's neck in a wrestling match, because Stan's like 3/4 blind, You know, he can't see his hand. You know?
That's how Vader lost his eye in that match.
Yeah.
Stan Hansen didn't know what he was doing, so he knocked his eye out.
It happened, yeah.
Vader.
Just yell it out. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just wondering, did you ever do any business with the WWE?
You know, I trained Scott Ferrazzo for UFC 11, and we hit it off. We, you know, and because all he wanted to do was beat Tank Abbott, you know. So I trained him for that, and he beat Tank in the first round, and then, you know, he shot his wad. He couldn't compete. He had to go to the hospital, and so Scott got on the phone, called WWE up, and we both went up there to interview with him. And Scott was a used car salesman, and being a used car salesman, Scott went in there and told them how we were going to run the show and how this is going to happen. And we were going to do this, and we were escorted off the property. Yeah, it's we weren't even allowed to buy it on TV anymore, you know.
You did also have talks with Eric Bischoff in WCW.
Right? Yeah. That was a couple of weeks before the WWE deal. You know, they called me up, and I said, "Yeah, I'm going to bring my younger brother." You know, and they said, "Okay." And then I called. I was talking to Scott and said, "Hey, you want to go?" And I didn't know it was a job interview. I just thought we were going to talk. So I took my friend and my brother to a job interview. That didn't go over very well. So needless to say, I didn't work for them either.
Was there a question back here or a comment?
Well, I'm just looking.
Oh, no, back there.
I was curious to know what brought about the non-sanctioned fight in the parking lot that ran the second time.
Brian Johnson and I, we were at a bar, and that's how they all start, huh? And so it was, like I said, about a year to the day, and snowing real hard there, and we were leaving, and we had a minivan that we had rented, and the parking lot was full, come everybody leaving the bar, and these people had this big old 73 Cadillac, and these gals in a BMW bumped it, and these guys got out, and next thing you know, they're yelling at the girls, and they're grabbing the girl, and I go, oh shit. You can't grab the girl, you know. So he's on that side of the fender, and I'm on this in the trunk, you know, and he starts bad mouthing me. I said, I'm eating a piece of beef jerky. Like, you can't touch the guy, you know. And he blah, blah, blah. I said, I don't care. You can't touch the girl. He put his hat down or something, started walking over. So I put my beef jerky down. He went down like a sack of potatoes. Brian come running out, you know, right there. Oh man, my hand, you know, I broke it. And Brian said, you better get out of here before the cops come. Brian scoops this guy up, shoves him back in this Cadillac, you know, just blood all over his face. And the guy says, what happened? Brian said, you don't know? The guy said, no. He says, man, that chick knocked you out.
I know we're going to turn this back into Godzilla, but how do you stay in such great shape, though? You got a big workout regimen? I mean, you look in... I mean, I'm sorry, I look like this.
Yeah.
And you know, it looks like you work out.
I was lucky, genetics, and I got a tough wife.
Is it? Yeah?
My wife, Molly's been teaching aerobics for 30 years, and she don't have any patience. So she chases me. She makes sure I get my ass out of bed every morning and get to moving. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She got no patience for anything. Uh-oh, secret.
All right. Well, actually, we had the man who organized the session to begin with, but who wasn't aware of the scheduling change. So it's Danny Tokar.
You get the hit.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you very much. Don, thank you for coming back.
Martin,
What have I missed so far?
Oh, everything.
You missed the bar fight.
Yeah. And the arm wrestling competition that's going to happen after the session.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe you can catch me up in the
We
last 30 minutes or so.
I think we spent 10 minutes talking about the movie and 20 minutes talking about UFC and wrestling and bar fighting.
We're about to get back to
We're going back to the movie.
We're going to go back.
We're going to go back to
We're
the
going to turn it over to you.
Exactly. Let's. What questions do you have or
Oh,
comments?
it's my turn to talk now?
Talk. The floor is yours.
I had the idea to revisit this film 10 years after, not only because Don came back to see us, but with the new legendary film opening, everyone's excited about Godzilla again, right?
Yeah,
And
hell yeah.
that was the last one from Toho Studios in Japan. Could be forever, nobody knows, right? You never say never, but it's been 10 years.
That's the rumor, right?
Right. Now, when that movie was released, it came after what Toho called their Millennium series, which a lot of you guys are going to remember, just kind of bounced around origin story to origin story, and let's do it again, and it was getting weird, and it was uneven. So when Godzilla Final Wars comes out, it was probably the craziest one in a long, long time. But I remember, and a lot of you are going to remember, that it divided Godzilla fandom almost down the middle. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people, well, like myself, and hopefully all you guys in here loved it. And still love it. And as the little guys and girls are going to grow up, hopefully they're going to love it as much as the ones that we got to see, the first time guys that got to see it when it came out. And I think Don, I know you're going to agree, somehow managed in the film with the character of Captain Gordon to create one of the coolest characters in any Godzilla movie ever. And we're lucky to have him come back and talk about it. I'd like to just start out by asking him, because I'm late to my own show. Don, do you remember how you got cast in the first place?
Yeah, like I said, Ruhei was a fan of mine. And he had looked for me for 3 or 4 or 6 months, and finally chased me down. And I think, heck, I might have been in the locker room after a wrestling match. Somebody came up to me, with an envelope and a request, and that's just damn good luck, dumb luck,
What were your thoughts and feelings about someone asking you to be in a monster movie to begin with?
Well, heck, everybody knows who Godzilla is.
Right.
Yeah, I jumped on it.
You jumped on it?
Like I said, I didn't know whether I was going to get paid or not, or if I was going to have to pay them. If somebody walked up to one of you all and asked you want me in a Godzilla movie, you're going to say no. I have demands that need to be met,
Right.
Right.
So, I guess I would just ask you now, a decade later, do you, every once in a while just throw it in and still have fun with it? Or is that a big thing at your house? How does this work?
What happened?
Captain Gordon?
About 7 or 8 years ago, I had an actor and a movie producer come out to the house trying to talk me into another movie. And, my kids, little rugrats. And I says, well, you want to see Final Wars? And the girl says, we don't want to see that stinky movie. Oh, man. Well, I think the girls and my wife were put on this planet to keep me humble.
Right. So I guess that's a no. Every once in a while, maybe you can sneak it by yourself and see how you did, or that's not how actors really do it. I'm not really sure.
I'll watch a movie, one of my movies, just like I watch one of my fights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm the harshest critic.
Right.
I'll get after it and I'll critique it so bad, I'll get depressed.
I understand how that goes.
Yeah, this is I should have done this, that, and It's pretty depressing after I'm done.
Well, on the flip side of that, any one of us, at least I know at this table, when we put it in, we don't get depressed. We still love it to death.
That's true. Very true.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, as the entire series, there's scientists, there's quirky inventors, there's unlikely heroes. But Captain Gordon was the only straight up, no nonsense, intimidating both physically and in spirit.
Red-blooded American tough guy.
That's why your character stands out, because it's just a straight up tough guy.
And he's a very unusual character, like a very unusual hero for a Japanese film, because he's a military guy, but he's the renegade. He's very much an American kind of film hero, because he's the renegade, you know, rebelling against authority, disobeying orders, and we'd never seen that.
Yeah.
And there was a reference made when Captain Gordon gets in trouble in the film that he slapped the girl in the face. What court-martial?
Oh yeah, no, I punched the superior commanding officer out.
Right, that's what it was.
Right, not the girl.
Not the girl.
He doesn't. He protects girls. He doesn't hit them.
Right.
That's right.
Zillion.
On the movie set, like how many takes would they allow you to do? Since their budgets are always small, and then say the American film and stuff like that. How many takes would they allow you to do in a scene if there was a couple flubs or?
You know, I think the most takes we ever did was 7. You know, I know. You know, like I said, I've had the privilege of working for Michael Mann 3 times now, and you can do 40 or 50 takes with Michael Mann.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, he's a perfectionist personified, you know, and I know it. I shouldn't say this. It's not my business to say this, but him and Johnny Depp got in a couple arguments, you know. Damn near come to fist fight, you know, on Public Enemies, yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised Johnny Depp would even be like that.
Well, I think what he's saying is when the guy keeps telling you, let's do it again, it's a little irritating, right? When you think you nailed it and the director says, let's have it again.
Well, especially if you're Johnny Depp, you know,
right.
best, or Christian Bale, best actors on the planet, you know. You don't want somebody telling you to do it again. You know. Me, I can understand.
Is that your wife and kids talking?
Yeah, boy.
You've had a lot of feedback from us. Have you ever had any feedback from the Japanese kind of side of the film fandom?
No.
As to how they perceived your character or enjoyed it? Or?
You know, that's interesting. Now, how long did you have to stay out there while you were shooting?
I was there for 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah. Like I said, they brought my family out for about 10 days, and then they sent me home for a week once. But yeah, it was a good time. Like I said, it was about an hour drive each way, you know, to the set and back from the set, and then 16 hours. 12, 16 hours on the set. One time we did a 24-hour shoot.
Whoa.
That was a dragger. Well, we were all dragging butt on that one.
But there was plenty of sake there, so.
Hey, Don, you mentioned that Ryo Kitamura was a fan of you fighting, and that's why he sought you out. I imagine, wouldn't that go double for Tak Sakaguchi? He must have been a big fan of yours as well, right? Being a fighter guy himself.
Yeah, And then, I got to work with Masa Funaki, Funaki's son.
Another one.
Yeah, he's one of the guys who really originated the shoot style fighting over there, with the UWF, and last year, I was hauling hay home one afternoon, and my phone rang, and it's Japanese, and they asked me if I want to come over there and do a pro wrestling match. Well, let me call up the wife and ask her, get permission, And I called her, and she said, "Well, we're going,"
Oh.
Yeah. So my wife and kids and I, we got a little vacation.
That's great.
Yeah, we went there, and Molly's a type A personality, and one of those people, you go on vacation, she's got it all mapped out, how your vacation is going to be spent. And so we had to get up at 4 a.m. one day to go down to the fish market. You know, just,
that's
so we had to watch the fish come in off the boat.
I think that's all of us. Let's get up at 4 a.m. and watch fish.
I actually remember last time you came to see us all that you were kind of getting dragged around by the wife and the kid.
The wife would get after. She's, like I said, she's an aerobics instructor and a type A personality. She's got more energy than a person has a right to have.
With it being your first kind of major role, do you remember what your first meeting was like? I mean, prior to you being given the role, when you were meeting with the director?
Yeah, it was inside a big room like this, you know, with all the wardrobe and everything. And, you know, we were trying to talk it, you know, Ruhe speaks pretty damn good English. And like I said, I don't have any Japanese. I can go to the bathroom or get a beer. And so he tells me, well, you're going to be wearing this outfit here, you know. And I look like Adolf Hitler. If you look at it, you know. Everybody else is in their Nazi blue, and I'm in my Nazi Adolf brown, you know. And it was just, he tried to explain how it was, but, you know, I'm just a dumb jock, you know. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. So I just agreed with everything, like I know what the hell's going on. And what did I mess up that first day? I'll tell you.
Don, for the role, I mean, you had to have at least improvised something, didn't you? I mean, that's a lot of personality.
Half the lines in there are mine. Yeah.
Great.
And to fix them.
So, did you ever like grow up with any Godzilla movies or anything like that, or you were just introduced to him and just you knew about it?
Oh no! Like I said, my dad's in the Air Force, so you know all the other Air Force brats, you know, bring home stuff from Okinawa and Japan, and so you know we'd watch the 8mm stuff. You know, I remember the first one I saw was, you know, Godzilla versus Ghidorah. You know, the old you know, that's, you wouldn't understand what 8mm is. It's like getting your DVD stuck every other second, right? Yeah.
It's funny, like 2 years ago there was a Godzilla birthday event in Tokyo that I went to, and Godzilla Final Wars was one of the movies being screened, and it was completely in Japanese, and even Don Frye was dubbed into Japanese. And something must have been getting lost in the translation, because whenever Don Frye would speak, the audience was completely stone silent. No one was laughing, no one was reacting in any way, and I was just amazed. Something had to have been different. I don't know what was going on, like what was getting lost in the translation, but obviously it was something, because no one was making a peep.
Maybe the G-spot.
Yeah, G-spot. Everybody's figured that one out. Yeah. I know they told me that the guy who did my voice is the same guy who did Schwarzenegger's voice, dubbing. Yeah, that'd be interesting to hear, you know.
So coming from a background of real fighting, how big of an adjustment is it to actually do these choreographed fights where the goal is to actually not make contact with the other person?
Well, I've been lucky. I've been doing pro wrestling, you know, over there. So. And apparently somebody didn't wise me up on the pro wrestling aspect where you're not supposed to hit them, so I ended up hitting some of my guys, you know, they didn't appreciate that. They want me to make it look real, so there's only one way to make it look real.
You're out of the way with another athlete rather than an actor.
Right, yeah.
You in the back?
Did you get to keep your sword?
No.
Oh, that's horrible, man.
Yeah, I wanted to, but they wouldn't allow me. The only thing I got to keep the wooden version, you know, is what I trained with, you know. That stunt coordinator, you know, he gave it to me. You know, that's what I used for a week or so to learn how to learn proper movements. You know, it's funny because you do all this, and then at the end, you see me, you flick the sword, and that's the samurai flicking the blood off the blade. You know, that's really cool.
And yeah.
Your time in Japan as a wrestler. I know Mick Foley and Terry Funk spent a lot of time over there. Did you do any matches with them or?
No, they worked for All Japan. I worked for New Japan. Terry, I got to meet Terry about 7 years or so ago. Dave Meltzer, he writes the Wrestling Observer. He introduced us, and I fought in Amarillo twice. And so I got to invite Terry over to, see my 2 fights over there, and then we go out and have beers afterwards. And I just saw Terry about 3 weeks ago over there in San Diego. They had a pro wrestling autograph thing. So Terry and I and there's a whole bunch of people there, obviously, but Roddy Piper and a couple other guys. We did Piper's podcast. That was fun. That's one of those things where I probably said about 4 things because you're just mesmerized. You just shut up. Mouth closed, ears open. And you listen to those guys talk. Nobody wants to listen to you when there's Piper and Funk. Nobody cares what you have to say.
That's
Okay, being in Japan outside of anything related to a job, I guess just exploring it as a tourist, how did you like Japan?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. We had the opportunity to go to some of the castles. All those castles are fantastic. The architecture on them, and the design, and just the way they make, they make stuff to stay. I mean, obviously the castles are, 600-800 years old. Plus they went through a war, and or several wars, and it's just the pride that the Japanese have in everything they do is just phenomenal. And it's just, like I said, it's just a privilege to be over there.
Okay, last question.
Going back to the subject when you actually had to hit the actor sometimes, did you actually have to hit that Exilian girl on the spaceship?
No, I didn't. But what happened, I did blow her knee out.
I'm so sorry.
I got knocked. Let's see what happened. I got knocked. I don't know if it made the final cut or what, but I hit my knees. I got knocked down to my knees, and then I spun around. And when I, bent like this, and when I spun around, my legs come around and whacked her, and just knocked her right on the ground. And blew out her knee.
That sounds painful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, when it comes to Godzilla Final Wars, Don Frye gets the final word.
Don, everybody loves you here, man. What would you like to say before you say goodbye to all your true believing fans out here?
I just want to say thank you for the privilege of, remembering who I am 10 years after the fact, and inviting me over here. Thank you very much. I'm a Godzilla fan, and it's nice to be part of, a bunch of you guys who are Godzilla fans. I'm glad somebody's keeping the strength, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
We gotta haul him to the airport. I've got limited change for you guys.
No, Arizona.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Sick. If we run out, guys, they'll have them at the 34 dealer's video table in the dealer's room.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Final words.
I've got a friend back in the only movie that he really wants to watch is Final Wars because he got that great.
Yeah. Thanks. That was fun doing it, boy.
I see that.
What we do?
Well, and can I just say one more?
I got a couple comments here.
Oh, no, it's downstairs.
I had to give him a desk. He got a desk score.
Yeah, no.
I guess it was
Yeah, the orientation. But I wasn't there.
And I got your text, right? Every day. No worries about kids.
Oh, yeah.
You and me together? Or?
I never hear anything about them.
Oh, really?
I've heard his throw pictures on basically, but even like interviews with paper chief.
Oh, they have no
Well, they had
that was put into exception. I did
upstairs and then across Saturday.
not as much, but I was here since
They're like, oh,
yeah, literally after one.
Can you just?
I don't know. How much do you want to charge me? I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Detective out there.
I gotta find the rest.
And you're somebody has media involved.
Gold, red, or black?
Whatever one you want.